We finally have an update in the K-Flock case where the rapper has now hinted towards his release date. K-Flock's lawyers have been going to work for him to have a release date announcement, as even K-Flock's best friend would reveal there are things we do not know about this case.
Okay, but so I saw some fans who were off at both me and Akademiks after K-Flock got locked up because just because I guess, like, you know, in our tone when we talked about it, you know, it might have seemed like we were being a little too presumptuous. But is that weird for you? Because I'm sure you see people all the way from rappers to whoever acting like, you know, your boy is just done and he's cooked in this situation.
I ain't gonna lie, people, especially people that don't even be knowing, like, y'all don't even know what's going on, bro.
Yeah. This was, however, until today, when all of the unknowns have just been revealed. To understand when he'll be released, we first need to break down the new evidence in his case. The new court files read, on December 23rd, 2021, New York rapper K-Flock, otherwise known as Kevin Perez, was involved in a situation leading to the passing of an Uber Eats delivery driver named Oscar Hernandez. As on this day, Kevin Perez, aka K-Flock, was seen walking down the street in New York City, wearing a blue designer coat, as well as wearing a shiesty mask as well. He would be accompanied by his sister as well as her friend. The three would walk past a barbershop as K-Flock noticed a street member inside of it named Oscar Hernandez. Noticing Oscar, K-Flock would stare at him for roughly 10 seconds while still walking straight. Oscar Hernandez would then notice that K-Flock was staring and knew exactly who it was off first glance, even though he had a shiesty on. When Oscar noticed K-Flock, he would be seen immediately running out of the barbershop, as a nearby witness would say that Oscar said to K-Flock, "Yo, do we have a problem?" As K-Flock would then turn around and have a small argument with Oscar Hernandez in the middle of the street. Hernandez would be quick to back off from K-Flock as he would begin walking away, trying to go back into the barbershop. However, while Oscar turned his back, K-Flock was then seen pulling a firearm from out of his waistband and using it towards Hernandez. With it connecting towards Hernandez, he was trying to run back into the barbershop for help. However, he didn't make it to the front door. He would then later sadly pass from his injuries at the local NYC hospital. All that was left at the scene was shell casings, as well as Hernandez's slides that he was wearing on this day. K-Flock immediately became the main suspect in the investigation due to the NYPD posting the surveillance footage to Twitter, as the NYPD were hoping the public could help find the main suspect, as when they posted the photo online, thousands of fans realized this is the exact same designer outfit K-Flock was rocking on Instagram hours earlier. The NYPD would then put out a warrant for Flock's arrest, as Twitter members would basically snitch on him, where K-Flock would quickly hire one of the best lawyers in the game. Until then, K-Flock and his lawyer had to walk into the NYPD 30th precinct together to turn himself in. K-Flock's lawyer then put out this statement, "Yesterday, I accompanied Kevin as he self-surrendered to detectives in the 30th precinct. Arrangements were made immediately with the NYPD once I learned that he was wanted. As to the charges against him, we have begun our own investigation into these allegations." More importantly, considering the DA's significant disclosure this morning, saying that the NYPD received a tip saying someone else was the hitter, we demanded the DA's office to provide disclosure of the videos referenced in the complaint and even more information on the tip. We will address bail once we have had a chance to review the case and further investigate the disclosure. As K-Flock's lawyer was then given all of the evidence the feds truly had on him. K-Flock was acting in self-defense according to K-Flock's lawyer, as allegedly when Oscar Hernandez turned around, he was actually flashing his firearm towards K.
When the guy hits the ground and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. You know, we consider that to be self-defense.
So he did take him in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. You know, I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case, but the government claims that he pulled the... But at the same time, the person that was on the ground had his hand on a loaded, illegal loaded, apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
You know, that could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear is going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull the
as sources believe that Oscar Hernandez was likely assuming that once showing K-Flock his firearm that was tucked in his waistband, that K-Flock would have just walked away or even ran. However, that wasn't the case in the end. But the NYPD believe this incident was street-related based on K-Flock's documented affiliation with the Bronx-based Third Side Street Team, as it was documented that K-Flock was heavily involved in street-related acts within his time in the free world. Not to mention being a huge name figure in the streets, it would make him a main target to his ops whenever they would see him in the middle of the street. Now, due to those reasons alone, K-Flock and his lawyers are convinced and are even making the claim the situation was an act of self-defense. K-Flock's lawyers are very positive they're going to beat this case, and the rapper will be released very soon, as even other rappers in the industry would react.
What's it like for you watching the K-Flock thing happen? That's crazy. Next big artist coming out of New York.
I love Flock, so I like that. I like that. That's my guy.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm wishing him the best right now, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, for the alleged charges they pushing on him, you know what I'm saying? I'm wishing his family the best. I'm wishing the whole team the best and everything, you know what I'm saying? And I hope he beat them alleged charges, you know what I'm saying? Because he got a lot of future brightness he got, and I hope, you know what I'm saying? Everything just wake all the young kids up, like how fat it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a sad story if that's the end of the
No, we ain't gonna think like that, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta stay positive.
As this is where things get very strange, and it almost seems as if they have it out for K-Flock. When K-Flock's lawyer presented the evidence proving that this was self-defense, the following week, K-Flock would then be involved in a 40-page RICO document where it would be announced Bronx drill rapper K-Flock was just indicted by a federal grand jury for a bunch of new racketeering conspiracy charges, also known as RICO charges. Which this is all related to the same thing Boosie just said about YNW Melly. When the feds want you, they will do anything to get you.
Now they're putting even more charges on him, and then
when they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted them bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh right, yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
Yeah.
Like, after a mistrial, that doesn't happen, really.
As right when K-Flock's lawyers have enough evidence to prove it was self-defense, he randomly gets hit with this. This even had hip-hop creators reacting by sharing, K-Flock just caught a RICO. It's really over. To even DJ Akademiks stating, the feds just unsealed an indictment on K-Flock for a RICO charge. The mandatory minimum, if he doesn't beat the other charges or snitch, is life in prison. He is still facing state charges that have him locked up. Pray for him. Now, the news of K-Flock now facing these RICO charges would hit the news headlines, where his lawyer was quick to release a statement basically revealing they're not surprised by this at all. As he would reveal, we're not surprised by the federal charges, as we have been defending Kevin's state charges for over a year now. Considering the incident was a clear act of self-defense, it wasn't a particularly strong charge. That is now being used as a basis for a possible penalty charge is extraordinary. On video, it is crystal clear that Kevin was about to be affected after attempting to walk away from the other person. Only then did Kevin use an item to defend himself from another armed team member who was about to pull out his item from his pocket. As if you truly understand how corrupt things can be in the streets when it comes to these rappers, his lawyer just said they're not even surprised that this is happening, as they were just about to have K-Flock released for having the self-defense evidence.